It's April. Crazy month lies ahead. Are you ready for the adventures that are before you, my friends? We need to find out. Well, there's only one way to do that, and that's by marching forward through the month. It is April 1st, which typically is known as April Fool's Day. I promise you that this will be a fool-free edition of hot news besides the guy talking to you. So let's go ahead and jump on into the existential question of the day, which is a carpet or rug just a house's underwear? This was submitted by somebody over on our live streams that we do daily on Twitch. If you want to check us out there, we do hot news live every single day. You can go to our Twitch link in the video description, twitch.tv/UFDisciple, in case you want to help submit existential questions. I'm more likely to see it when we stream live. Anyways, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 pricing. And I know this might sound like it's April Fool's, but this came out actually last week or a few days ago, and I'm just now getting around to covering it just because there's been a few more developments coming out surrounding it. So there are several different information sources out there claiming that they have the pricing on the PlayStation 5. And not only do they have the pricing, but they're taking pre-orders. So they're taking people's money right now in order to reserve a PlayStation 5, which means you think they have a finger on the pulse of what the pricing is going to cost. So the first big one that's happening is a store on Vancouver Island called Play and Trade, and they are charging 560 Canadian dollars for a PlayStation 5 reservation, which when converted based on the current exchange rate is right around $400, which is a very, very optimistic price. Do I doubt that it could be $400? Yes, a little. Is there a chance that it could be? I'd say a 10% chance that it would be as cheap as $400. I would love if a PlayStation 5 was $400. However, there's a few things that we have to look into. So Play and Trade Vancouver opened up the pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 on March 26th, and actually in the comments as you read to their responses of everything going on, you find out, one, no, this is not necessarily a scam. They're a retail business that exists in British Columbia, so they're there. The reviews aren't stellar on Google reviews, but it also doesn't seem like they're super shady. And then we just go through the comments where they answer everything about, the major questions that you would have. So they don't have any specifications on the release date. They're simply charging 559 Canadian dollars right now. However, when asked, is this like the price? The answer comes down to, this is not the final sales price. And if you actually want to buy it from us when it does release in Q4 of this year, you will either have a refund or you will pay more depending on how much the console costs. So big news about the PlayStation 5 being only $400 in British Columbia, not really a thing. However, there's another leak that came out where pre-orders were being done with a Danish retailer where they listed it for 6,989 Danish krone, or is it crown? How am I supposed to pronounce that? Don't know. Anyways, which converts to around $1,000, which is quite insane. I obviously don't think that one is right also. So I think we could probably guess price of the PlayStation 5 is between $400 and $1,000. But the main takeaway here is that with some retailers, they don't care if they have the actual product or if it's going to be delayed. They will willingly accept your money. Let me know what you think the price of the PlayStation 5 is going to be. And also, do you think the Series X and PS5 will be the same price at launch? Let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. The unfortunate reality is that even though there's price listings for the PS5, they're probably not legit. Speaking of being legit, AMD and Intel have both come out and made statements regarding the fact that they are currently not laying anybody off for the current Voldemort stuff that's going on right now. However, it's not necessarily for the reasons you might think. It's not because they're doing so great in revenue. It's not because they're swimmingly moving forward. It's because the cost of rehiring people after all of this is over would outweigh the cost of keeping them on for right now. So they're just not going to be doing it right now. So there is a statement from Business Insider saying, barring financial distress, rehiring is ultimately more costly than maintaining headcount that would be above optimum levels even for several quarters. So Intel, AMD likely not to do massive layoffs due to the Voldemort issue. However, Intel has been laying off certain sectors of different component teams that they don't want to develop anymore. Recently, we've had the 5G thing where they got rid of that. So it's potentially going to move forward where they could still lay people off, just not for Voldemort. So Intel, AMD, not laying people off, but AMD laying on the gas pedal when it comes to laptops. We talked about in yesterday's hot news that AMD's new Ryzen 4000 laptops are absolutely smashing all over Intel, but that's not the beefiest one of all. No, my friends, there is a new laptop from XMG, the Apex 15. It is a laptop with a full desktop Ryzen 9 3950X on the inside, okay? 16 cores, 32 threads in this behemoth of a computer. It appears that it is a Clevo rebrand. It's either gonna have a 2060 or 2070 GPU, 15-inch screen, 144 hertz. And the cost for a 2070 version of this behemoth, monster, prodigious laptop is €2,631 right now. So in case you want the beastliest Ryzen 3000 series you can get in a laptop, well, there you go. Apex, XMG Apex is yours, potentially, maybe not. But I tell you, that 3950X will now run faster in Matlab thanks to some improvements that have been done. We talked about in a previous episode of Hot News that Matlab was kind of really crippled on AMD processors because of certain things that Intel has done with their math kernel library, and it wasn't really working well with AMD. However, it appears that that has been fixed. You can spoof MKL onto the AMD processors, and you can see over 200% performance bump in Matlab on your Ryzen stuff now. Congrats. And you can see better performance on your GTX 1650 if you wait a couple days, because it appears that NVIDIA is launching a new version of the 1650 with GDDR6 memory. The previous one had GDDR5, now this one has 6. Better memory bandwidth for some reason. Maybe it's just NVIDIA switching over completely to GDDR6 and they don't want to keep GDDR5 on the payroll. It's a possibility. Speaking of keeping things on the payroll, Samsung is not going to keep LCDs on the payroll anymore. Samsung Display is killing off all of its LCD panel products by the end of this year. However, they are still going to move forward with AMOLED and QLED, which, I mean, technically, depending on who you ask, QLED is a version of LCD, but it's just the normal versions of LCD that Samsung's not going to be producing anymore. Bye-bye, LCD. You're bad news. Old news. And it's old news for robocallers. In case you don't know, in the United States, we have a tremendous plague of just robocalls going on all the time. I thought it was bad in South Africa where I just got random calls, but it was always a real person. Here in the United States, it's bot after bot after bot. Anyways, the FCC announced yesterday that they are going to be working on having every company adopt their stir shaking protocol by June 30th, 2021, which would be a regulatory requirement designed to combat robocalls, specifically those that are trying to hide their numbers or not having authenticated caller IDs. So there's some movements by the FCC to actually fix this. It is a plague. It is a scourge. It hurts my phone. I don't answer phone calls. I didn't answer phone calls before, and I sure as heck don't answer them now. And I don't go near people, which you shouldn't be doing either. Hey, social distancing. And in case you want to figure out how you can best social distance, well, Snapchat just released an AR update to their app where you can put a circular thing on your screen that shows you how far away you're supposed to be from people. Snapchat social distancing, yay. And how far I want to be away from people is here, giving you the news. And Microsoft wants to give you the news too, but we have the hottest news, okay? Microsoft just has normal, boring, cold chicken nugget fried news, okay? It's disgusting.
Back off, Microsoft.
Back off, Microsoft. Anyways, Microsoft's gonna potentially be rolling out a news bar to Windows 10, which just above your taskbar is gonna have like a scrolling news thing feed going by. I guess I can't be with you 24/7, so Microsoft is trying to be there for you when I'm not able to. But all I know is Microsoft, if you try to step on my domain, I'm gonna yield because you're a massive company and I'm a sad little potato boy. And a lot of people are sad little potato boys because it was announced that Apple has bought the Dark Sky weather app, which seems to be a fan favorite out there. I actually have never even heard of it before, but the responses that I saw of this was no, because everybody really loves it. And not only did Apple purchase it, but they're also severing the Android and Wear OS apps for it on July 1st. No. So they're gonna take complete control of it, which seems a little like anti-competitive to me. You're buying apps that you're not allowed to use on another competitor. It's a little weird. I'm not sure how it's gonna work out, but Apple using dark skies to make it so that they can make their weather app better. And Apple is also bringing ProRes RAW support to Windows on Premiere Pro for the first time in forever. Finally gonna be able to edit ProRes RAW in Premiere on Windows. So Apple taking away dark sky, giving ProRes, which affects so many fewer people than the dark sky app. No. Speaking of affecting people, Twitch streamers, or live streamers, we talked about how we do Hot News live every single day. Seriously, go check us out, twitch.tv/UFDisciple. Maybe toss us a Twitch Prime sub if you have it. Connect it to your Amazon Prime account, bam, bam, bam. That could be a thing, support us over there. Anyways, you could be streaming a lot easier on Mac because Streamlabs has announced that it is going to open beta for their live streaming software on Mac OS. So you can check out Streamlabs OBS on Mac if you so desire. And you can check out the Spotify Kids app app, which I didn't know existed because apparently it was only in Ireland since last year. Well, now it has been announced that it's coming to the US, Canada, and France as of today. So hopefully it makes sure that it's the parental versions of songs. Only Kids Bop, probably, if I'm guessing. It's just like Old Town Road remixes sung by 10-year-olds. It's the entire app. I don't know if I would use this at all. But while Spotify is rolling stuff out, Chevy is rolling stuff in. Or no, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, Chevy Bolt electric vehicle. The refresh has been delayed until 2021. So in case you were hoping to get a newer version of what Chevy has, you have to wait longer because of Voldemort, and HP is going to have to wait a little while longer if they want to find a suitable suitor for them, because it appears that the king of the world has decided that the matrimony between HP and Xerox, and by matrimony I mean the domination of Xerox onto HP, is not happening. My point is, we talked about in a previous episode of Hot News that Xerox was looking to buy out HP. However, because of Voldemort and everything that's going on right now, Xerox doesn't have enough money, so they officially brought an end to it, and they're done. They're done with HP. They're backing out of their $34 billion HP takeover because of Voldemort. So that's sad news. But I'm gonna give you the most terrifying news I've seen, okay? So if you're easily creeped out, just ignore this next section, okay? Just tune back in and check the timestamps, okay? This is the creepiest thing I've seen in quite some time, okay? This is somebody who took an AI and used it to map music to facial expressions in real time. It is terrifying. Go ahead, watch the full video. We'll leave a link in the video description. Check it out right up there. We're gonna play a small snippet for you right now and be horrified. So that's terrifying. And it's also terrifying to consider that your house is naked if it doesn't have a carpet or a rug, right? Right? Because carpets and rugs are just house's underwear. That's the existential question of the day. My house is naked, Reece. I'm nakedly, unashamedly gonna tell you that this episode of Hot News is over. You're welcome. I delivered you a non-Fool's edition of April Fool's. It seems like April Fool's is canceled this year. So many companies either choosing to do them, like in our WhatsApp group from our South African community, the ward counselor decided to send out a April Fool's prank saying that the South African government was going to be revoking all IDs and licenses during the lockdown so that they can make sure that everybody starts afresh once the lockdown is lifted. And it was not met with very much happiness.
That's not what people need right now.
No, nobody needs to be fooled right now. You only need a fool to give you the news. And that was me. I'm done. Goodbye.